Hello and welcome, everyone. Come on in, make yourself comfortable. We're going to get started shortly. I'm seeing some exciting places in the chat. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening from Switzerland, the Philippines, Sweden, United States, Canada. Got some more folks from Canada and the United States. Wonderful. Brazil, Poland. Lovely to see you all. Germany, Korea, Argentina. Lovely. Paraguay, Norway. Ah, incredible. So great to see everyone here. Welcome in. All right, and we're going to get started shortly. Okay. Next slide, please. All right, everyone, welcome in. As a reminder, please stay on mute unless otherwise directed. We are beginning our final training call of the year. It's not so much a training today as it is a celebration. So thank you all for being here. We do always welcome your questions. So anything you're wondering about or anything you'd like to share with this group, you can always type it in chat throughout the call. And if we can't address what you're saying in the call, we can follow up with you afterwards. Viewing these training calls is required, and we'll talk a little bit about milestones and program requirements later because this is the last required training call of the year. So you did it. Thank you for being with us throughout this whole training series. I do hope that it was very helpful for you in preparing you to lead your local event this year. Calls are recorded, so you're welcome to watch this later if you can't attend it live. And please do participate. We're here to celebrate and hear your stories and celebrate all of the successes that you achieved this year. So thanks for being here. Next slide. All right, so today we're going to do the following. Gratitude all around. We're going to celebrate the local leads who are with us on the call and those who are watching remotely and virtually afterwards. We're here to celebrate the Go team that is here on the call today. And also celebrate all of the participants, stakeholders, and everyone who made this hackathon such a success for 2025. We're also going to take a look at the numbers. So I did release these numbers to you via email, but we'll review them together today and then hone in on highlights from your local events. And the spotlight of this call is going to be our panel. So we're going to hear directly from some local leads globally in a conversation about what went well and sharing all of those great participant stories. So please, I'm excited for this panel and I hope that you can engage with it as well. And then to close the call, as always, some reminders, some resources, and our final group photo. So if you'd like to be a part of it, please get photo ready by the end of the call. Next slide. So I mentioned gratitude, so let's get into it. Next slide. Wow, we could not have done this without you all. What a celebration, what a success. We did it, everyone. We made it through the hackathon this year. So take a moment, take a breath. If you haven't pat yourself on the back yet and congratulated yourself, please do so. We couldn't have done this without you. We truly mean it. Thank you for all the effort you put into your local event to make sure it was a success. You answered participant questions. You made sure they knew how to submit their projects. Probably a lot of those questions as it neared the deadline, I imagine. You worked with your local collaborators. You found a venue. You negotiated all of that relationship building in your communities. You built an engaging agenda for your participants to enjoy during the hackathon. This is all because of you, your vision, your effort. So thank you. This program would not be possible without our local leads. So just a round of applause for you. Next slide. As I mentioned, you are part of this program's continued success. We grow every single year, and this was our biggest year ever. This is in no small part due to your efforts in recruiting participants in your local event and helping ensure that they knew what to do every step of the way. This success is a reflection of your work, and we appreciate your efforts. Next slide. So thank you. Thank you from the entire Go team. Ooh, maybe you can click once more. I think there's more languages. There we go. So thank you, thank you. We really appreciate you, and thank you so much for making the 2025 NASA Space Apps Challenge such a success. Next slide. So speaking of thank yous, I hope you feel thanked, local leads. You are the heartbeat of this program. We also have some Go team members on the call with us today. So Go team, if you're here in chat, feel free to introduce yourself and say hello. I've highlighted you on this slide. From our community management team, Cynthia and myself, who you've done a lot of interfacing with, to everyone on the Go team, from leadership, communications, web, analytics, and the challenges judging and awards team. This whole global organizing team really made this happen. So if local leads, you could take a minute in the chat and give some thanks to the Go team, maybe someone who really helped make this process come to life for you. Really appreciate all of the Go team's efforts as well. So round of applause for the Go team. Thank you all for your efforts. Next slide. And to round out our thanks, I would like to invite the hackathon co-leads to say a few words of appreciation. So I'd like to introduce Brooke Burns and Bridgette Nielsen, the NASA Space Apps co-leads for 2025.
Brooke, why don't you kick us off? Perfect. Thanks, Allison. And thank you everyone for being here today. So excited to celebrate with you all. Obviously just wanted to take a minute to introduce myself for those of you I have not met. I'm Brooke. I'm one of the hackathon co-leads for Space Apps. And just want to say thank you so much for another amazing year and the incredible work that you all did. I think I speak for everyone in this community. When I say I truly can't express my gratitude enough for everything you all do for this community and this program. I think it goes without saying that Space Apps would not be what it is without you all. You are all such an integral part of this community and are so inspiring to get to work alongside for the common goal we all have. And all of the effort you all continue to put in is just shown through how this program continues to grow and us having our biggest year yet this year. So just so excited to celebrate that with you all. So thank you again for all the work and dedication you put into making your local events a wonderful success, and for the care and consideration that you show to all of the participants. I know that they greatly appreciate all of your support as well. So we're so grateful for you and so excited to celebrate with you today. And I'll hand it off to Bridgette.
Thank you, Brooke. Hi, everyone. For those of you who don't know me or recognize me, I'm Bridgette Nielsen. I'm a fellow co-lead. I, alongside Brooke, just want to take a moment to say such a humongous thank you. This year, as always, I have been blown away by the dedication, the creativity, and the care that you bring to each of your communities. I've been a part of this program for the past 5 years, which has been a joy and such a wonderful journey. And I've seen firsthand how much heart goes into what you do, from answering participant questions at all hours of the night to coordinating mentors, collaborators, partners, you name it, to making sure that every single person that walks through your door or joins your team's meeting feels welcome and inspired. Like Allison said, you are the heartbeat of this program. The energy and the passion that you bring are what makes Space Apps more than an event. You are the folks who make it a community. I'm so deeply grateful for the way that you represent your participants, how you lift each other up, and how you help bring NASA's mission to life around the world. So thank you for everything that you do and for continuing to make this program so special year after year. So all of my gratitude from the bottom of my heart. Thanks, local leads.
Thank you so much, Brooke and Bridgette, for your leadership. We really appreciate your words of gratitude and really appreciate, as you mentioned, the local lead community that worked with us this year. So Thank you for your insights and for your leadership, for steering the ship with us this year. I'm going to take a moment, though, to dovetail off of Bridgette's thank you here. I want to note that this is Bridgette's first year not being the community manager. So many of you worked with Bridgette in the past in her role as a community manager and know her from that context. But she just completed her first year as co-lead of the NASA Space Apps Hackathon. And so I have a little surprise for her to thank her for her efforts in the community space previously. So I'm going to try to share my screen here. Bear with me. Hopefully we can get the audio up in this transition. Okay, let's see if this works.
My name is Maria Sagi, and I am the local lead for the Space Apps Guatemala for the last 13 years. I want to just thank Bridgette for all the help she has provided us in having such a wonderful event that has helped so many youngsters, not only in Guatemala, Latin America, but the rest of the world.
First of all, congratulations for you to lead the whole Space App Challenge. You have actually helped us answering every question, clarifying, and providing us right guidance at the right time. With that, I wish you best and thank you for guiding us. Thank you very much from Local Lead. This is Mohammed Zaman from Bangladesh.
Hi, I'm Renee Peter, Local Lead for the NASA Space Apps Challenge in Pretoria, South Africa. To Bridgette, congratulations on your first year as Hackathon co-lead. Your support as community manager, including when you came to South Africa for our event, meant the world to myself and all involved. Your warmth and guidance has brought incredible energy to the initiative. Thank you for everything you've done for us.
Hi Bridgette, thank you very much for what you've done for us as local leads, supporting us through those years to do the best we can for this amazing event. Wish you all the best for all the next steps you are taking.
Hi, Teacher Teo here from Miri, Malaysia. Bridgette, I have to say thank you very much for all your guidance throughout these years since my first local lead in 2021. Really appreciate your patience and dedication. Thank you.
Hello, Bridgette. This is Marco from Campinas in Brazil. And I just wanted to thank you for helping us during all these years. You really made the difference in us believing we could become better local leads and inspire community. Space Apps now is a place that people know that they can belong. Thank you.
So thank you from the local lead community, Bridgette, for all of your work with the community, and we are so grateful for your new role as co-lead. So thank you so much.
Oh my goodness, I was not expecting to cry in this call. Thank you, everyone. That just means the world to me. And I just always say it is my honor and my privilege to get to work with each and every one of you. So thank you so much. Meant the world to me.
And with that, we'll move to the next slide. So let's look into Space Apps by the numbers and take a deep dive into what this hackathon looked like this year. So our numbers were impressive, to say the least. Our biggest year ever. In 2025, we registered 114,094 participants. What? That's huge. Of those participants, 8,000 were part of the universal event, our all virtual global local event. And the rest were part of your local events all around the world that you hosted in your communities. We had 551 locations around the world in 167 countries. We collaborated with 14 space agency partners and 124 subject matter experts. The participants formed 18,860 teams and submitted 11,511 projects. Incredible, to say the least. So, wow, just a record-breaking year for the NASA Space Apps Challenge. Thank you all so much. Next slide. So those were the numbers, but let's get into the stories. What does that look like? So today's a celebration call, and I wanted to share some of the impact and insights what those numbers mean from the 2025 NASA Space Apps Challenge, as reported by you, our local lead community. We have time today to review 4 main pillars of impact that your communities created this year. The first outcome we're celebrating is that local events provided meaningful community experiences to all participants who sought that supportive and enriching space to engage with the challenges. Local leads were impressed by the breadth of passion, creativity, and technical skills demonstrated by participants, even among first-time hackathon attendees. The key takeaways were that in locations of all sizes and of different demographics, global innovation can flourish with proper community guidance, mentorship, and experiential support. The events prove that many communities have the infrastructure to help grow future scientists, engineers, and innovators ready to contribute globally. Let's hear some feedback that you, the local lead community, shared with us. Next slide. So hearing from Monterrey, Mexico, what this looked like on the ground there. We had a whole area in our team dedicated to participant experience. Every meal, every side activity like karaoke or movie nights was designed to make people feel welcome and part of something special. For me, that community feeling, seeing people create things out of pure curiosity and love for science, truly represents the spirit of the NASA Space Apps Challenge. In Lucerne, Switzerland, we see dozens of people from different backgrounds, engineers, designers, data scientists, and students, staying late into the night, exchanging ideas, helping each other, and sharing that same sense of mission was truly inspiring. Next slide. Hearing from the local lead in Bhopal, India, our city's event isn't just about the technology, it's about community and mentorship. We prove that you don't need to be in the same room, nor do you need to be an expert in everything to create a globally competitive solution. With the right guidance and the right division of labor, a diversely skilled, remotely formed team can conquer a formidable challenge. And from Lubumbashi, Democratic Republic of the Congo, this year, all the teams showed incredible determination despite facing many local challenges, such as limited internet access, technical resources, and equipment. What made the event meaningful for me was seeing how everyone adapted, collaborated, and supported each other to create innovative solutions. Overall, we are celebrating how local leads enabled spaces for a wide range of participants to show up, feel seen, and deeply engage with the challenges. Next slide. The next outcome we're celebrating is that local events help NASA's free and open data find new audiences and applications, building participants' confidence along the way. The hackathon demystified... Oh, I'm sorry. If you could stay on mute, please. Thank you so much. The hackathon demystified NASA's open data and empowered participants to see it as an accessible and useful problem-solving resource. This growth in confidence and technical competence was a rewarding outcome as participants shifted from viewing the data as intimidating to wielding it as an essential part of their creative process. Let's learn what local leads have to say about increasing that confidence with data. Next slide. So in Belagavi, India, participants transitioned from zero familiarity with open science data to successfully developing complex prototypes. They showcased impressive outcomes, demonstrating not just technical skill, but also a newfound confidence in applying scientific knowledge. This transition from being, quote, clueless about the data, quote, to exhibiting proficiency perfectly represents the core mission in our city, democratizing access to complex space data and fostering rapid, high-impact learning. In Charlotte, North Carolina, in the United States, the local lead says, our participant arrived at the event excited but unsure how to approach others or where to start. With encouragement and guidance, every student participated actively and grew more confident. Several students shared how proud they were to have stepped out of their comfort zones and how much they learned by working with new teammates. Our event brings people together to discover that innovation begins with the courage to take the first step. Next slide. Data happening in Londrina, Brazil. At the start, many participants viewed NASA data as distant or too complex. By the end of the hackathon, the change was remarkable. Participants who had never worked with scientific datasets were confidently explaining their data sources and methodologies. They learned to value the process, from data cleaning to hypothesis testing, and understood how NASA's open data could be a powerful tool for local innovation. And in Chattogram, Bangladesh, mentors and volunteers conducted short data orientations on the first evening, walking teams through available NASA resources. These hands-on demos transformed initial hesitation into curiosity. Participants began to realize that the same data sets used by NASA scientists were open for them to query, visualize, and interpretation. So overall, we're celebrating how local leads created the necessary environment to support and help participants who were initially unfamiliar or intimidated by the scale of NASA's data. And now they're accessing it, they're interpreting, they're integrating. Data sets are part of the solution. That's so exciting. Next slide. So next, we're celebrating how these local events created connective tissue between data from space, global challenges, and local context, leading participants to find real-world relevance to their projects. The NASA Space Apps Challenge demonstrated how global data and resources can be leveraged to address real-world, community-specific challenges. The events catalyzed local problem solving, built capacity for science and tech, and connected global space exploration to tangible impacts on the ground. Let's see what this looks like. Next slide. In El Centro, California, in the United States, we learned that Imperial Valley is one of the hottest regions in the United States, and one team developed a project related to air quality and proposals about preventing heat stroke. It helps everyone see how space data can be used to solve real problems people face every day. In Seoul, Korea, one of the teams focused on the risks of land reclamation areas, which is a real and ongoing issue in Korea, where reclaimed land is often developed for industrial or commercial use. The hackathon inspires locally grounded yet globally relevant innovation. Next slide. In Davao City, Philippines, given the country's reliance on agriculture, many participants chose challenges related to farm data, managing the human weather. The focus on crops and climate demonstrated the direct applicability of NASA's open data to solve crucial local problems, effectively bridging global technology with local regional action. And in Huanaco, Peru, several projects tied directly to real-life problems in their community. Teams used NASA data to monitor potato blight, a concern for farmers in the Andean highlands, create a historical timeline of deforestation in the Tingo Maria National Park with near real-time alerts, and identify high-risk zone for landslides. By bringing a global event like NASA Space Apps to a region like ours, we're not only hosting a competition, we're igniting a spark. It's very clear that we can see how teams develop solutions that have direct, practical application in their local areas, that can expand the horizons of these young people and innovators to use space technology to solve real-world problems within these larger innovation ecosystems. Next slide. The last exciting outcome that we learned from you all is how this two-day event makes an impact that lasts long beyond 2 days. The personal and professional journeys of participants and of you, the local leads, have been shaped by your involvement in the 2025 NASA Space Apps Challenge. The hackathon has had a significant impact on personal and professional futures of the event's participants and of local leads. Participants developed critical thinking skills such as teamwork, problem solving, communication, and leadership, gained confidence in their abilities, and discovered new interests in STEM fields. And local leads, you gained too. Leadership, communication, organizational skills. There is so much benefit for all of these stakeholder groups. And let's see some of this impact in action. Next slide. In Aramtha, Jordan, they struggled at first. Their idea changed 3 times. Their code broke hours before the deadline, and they almost gave up. But instead of quitting, they came together, encouraged each other, and worked until the very last minute. When they finally presented, they spoke not only about their solution, but about what they had learned from failure, teamwork, and persistence. In Mysore, India, the event helped participants develop not just technical expertise, but teamwork, presentation, research, and communication skills. They worked under time constraints, sought mentorship proactively, and validated their solutions scientifically. Many participants shared that this experience encouraged them to pursue research internships, AI projects, even academic paths. The exposure to NASA's open data ecosystem gave them a broader understanding of how data can drive discovery. Next slide. From Albuquerque, New Mexico in the United States, We're able to share professional connections with our participants through local judge panels, which represented government, industry, and academia. I had many participants reach out to me directly to learn more about my professional work. I'm hopeful that they were not only able to grow their skills and network, but that they were inspired to lead in their professional and personal lives through compassion to one another. And in Haiphong, Vietnam, participants gained experience in data analysis, programming, project management, teamwork, independent problem solving. The hackathon encouraged them to think critically, innovate, and take ownership of their projects. These skills are directly transferable to future academic and professional endeavors. What a portfolio! My goodness, 2 days, and we're bringing all of this with us. Next slide. And lastly, I want to highlight the benefits that we heard about your own role. Being a local lead was an incredible opportunity for both personal and professional growth. We learned from the local lead in Vitória da Conquista, Brazil. I learned how to coordinate a diverse team, manage partnerships, create an environment where collaboration and creativity could truly thrive. The experience strengthened my leadership, communication, and problem-solving skills, especially in moments that required quick decisions and empathy to support participants and volunteers. Professionally leading a NASA Space Apps event has connected me to a global network of innovators and educators. That's all of us here in this call today, who share the same passion for open data, science, and community building. It inspired me to bring more STEM opportunities to my city to make innovation more accessible to young people. So think about what you're bringing with as well, the portfolio that you're taking with you after the 2025 NASA Space Apps Challenge. Next slide. So thank you all to those who contributed to our understanding of this year's event. Those quotes we pulled from the survey. If you haven't already completed your survey to provide your own feedback, there's still time to do so. It's due tomorrow, October 31st. So please submit your feedback to us. I'm excited, though, today that we can continue learning from local leads live on this call and celebrating our success together. So we have the honor of having a group of local leads join us for a panel now to discuss live their insights and their reflections on their local event in 2025. During the panel, we encourage you to actively listen and learn, but please do stay muted. And if you have a question for a panelist, you can put that in chat and we'll have a question and answer session at the end. Cynthia, I'm handing the microphone over to you to introduce our panel.
Thank you so much, Allison. Hi, everyone. For those that I haven't met yet, I am Cynthia. I am one of the global community managers, and I am so excited to guide us through one of the most energizing parts of our program each year, our celebration of success. Every year, we meet hundreds of local leads who pour their time, creativity, and heart into building their communities. And today, we get to highlight just a few of those incredible individuals. They've all taken the same global challenge and made it uniquely their own, weaving in culture, innovation, wellness, and education. This conversation will give us a small glimpse into what success looks like in different parts of the world and what keeps our local leads inspired year after year. Okay, before we dive into the conversation, I'd like to introduce our amazing panelists. You'll hear stories from local leads joining us from United Kingdom, Nigeria, India, Brazil, and the United States. 5 regions that together show just how global, creative, and connected this community truly is. Okay, let's meet them. First up, we've got Jen Ashley from London, United Kingdom. Jen leads NASA Space Apps Challenge London and is a well-known figure in the tech community. She's the former director of Women Who Code London and currently leads the London Python meetup with more than 8,000 members. Feel free to move on to the next slide. Next slide. Thank you. Jen has also led Google Women Tech Makers, Twitter Developer Community London, and Google Developer Groups London. She's the founder of Tech Now and has been instrumental in promoting inclusion and visibility for women in tech. Virtual round of applause for Jen. Thank you for joining us. Next slide. Next up, we've got Don Curley from Chicago, United States. Don has been the local lead of NASA Space Apps Chicago for 3 years, growing it from 14 registrants in 2022 to more than 600 600 in 2025. He serves on the board of visitors at Sierra Northwestern University's AI-focused Astrophysics Institute and participated in this year's Space Apps Collective cohort. Virtual round of applause for Don. Thanks for joining us. Next slide. Next up, we've got Sai Karan Katapali from Polygon, India. Sai Karan is the founder of Someone. His company develops the Sindhu EdTech platform and hosts an annual entrepreneurship summit for emerging innovators. A former Space Apps participant and global winner himself, this year marks his 10th year leading events across India. Virtual round of applause for Sai. Thank you for joining us today. Next slide. Next slide, we have Abdul Qadir Nuhu. Abdul Qadir is the CEO of Desert Sky Exploration, a leading company in space education and innovation. With a background in science and business management, he's been instrumental in advancing space awareness in Africa. Now, in his 5th year as a Space Apps local lead, Abdul Qadir has created new opportunities for youth and inspired real-world impact in his community. Virtual round of applause. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you. Thank you.
And last but certainly not least, we have Paloma Pinheiro from Florianópolis, Brazil. Paloma is a Brazilian entrepreneur and a founder of Founder House, a startup society supporting nomadic firms in Florianópolis. A top 5 global winner at Space Apps 2017, she continues to mentor and lead events across Brazil. Paloma's 2025 event centered in wellness and creativity, and even produced a globally recognized AI project that I am so excited for us to learn more about. Okay, as we dive in, next slide. Thank you. Jen, I'll start with you. We can spotlight our panelists to kick off our panel discussion. Awesome, thank you. Okay, Jen, I'll start with you. You've been leading Space Apps London since 2017, long before virtual events were the norm. You've hosted both in-person events in the past, but when it comes to online events, I think our local leads would love to know what's been your secret to keeping people engaged and inspired online year after year. I think you might be on mute, Jen. Awesome. We still can't hear you, Jen. Not quite. It's okay. I'll popcorn my next question, and then we'll get right back to you. I will, Paloma, I'll bring it over to you. So you've really reimagined what a hackathon can look like, from integrating organic meals and saunas to mindful rest and collaboration. Your event had such a holistic energy this year. What inspired you to take on this kind of approach?
Hi, Cynthia. Hi, everyone. I'm super excited to be here, and it's so good to be with this celebration. I've been an entrepreneur for almost a decade now, and I think as a startup investor myself over the years here in Brazil, we really put a lot of energy into creating this hustle culture that I lived for so many years of building technology without sleep, with Red Bulls, eating a lot of pizzas. Even at the hackathon I participated mostly, but in most of our day-to-day as tech creators, we created this kind of culture around us that doesn't prioritize us as humans. So unfortunately, I had a partner with burnout, another one with cancer, and that's kind of what forced us to take a step back and reimagine in our own company, in our portfolio company of startups, but also fundamentally as a culture, we are surrounding ourselves as an ecosystem here in Brazil. So leveraging NASA Space Apps, which is a hackathon I participated myself, we've been organizing, mentoring, and supporting since 2017. we really saw and reimagined what it is to create the seeds of imagination into participants that will become or already are the ecosystem of technology and space tech that we're creating here. To think, why do we have to suffer so much to build good tech? Maybe there is a better way that we can create an experience and still produce great results. So this is the third year we do this experiment, which is reimagining from a participant's perspective. How do we nurture and fill our bodies, our minds, and our souls to actually create very valuable technology projects for humanity? So as you mentioned, everybody sleeps. We have sleep protocols. We have nutrition protocols, breath work, sauna, ice baths. And we really try to figure out how to nurture our participants to their best experiences. And this year we had an addition to that protocol, which was a masseuse, so a massage therapist. And I think in our NPS, like we got 9.8, 100% of the participants said they will participate again. And I think the favorite one, the highest scoring testimonial, was definitely the massages. So we had actually a physiotherapist going into all the teams and making sure that if they had any sort of pain or trouble, they could get their treatment right there. So it's something that we had it as an experiment, as we love in the tech world. And last year we got a global winner. All kudos to the team, but it proves that it doesn't need to hurt us to make great projects. And we're hoping to have a global winner this year too, to continue to prove our thesis.
Congratulations. That is absolutely incredible. I remember discussing this in our original call, our pre-screening call, and it absolutely blew my mind, the idea of just reimagining tech culture by nurturing mind and body and really connecting that to provide an environment where the participants felt like they could really thrive, and it really shows in the results. To me, it's such a good example of how innovation really flourishes when people feel cared for and grounded. And speaking of innovation, your team developed an AI tool to help local farmers manage wildfires. That is such a powerful example of tech meeting community needs. Can you talk to us a little bit about what that project meant for your participants and members of the community?
Yeah, so we live in a very privileged island in south of Brazil called Florianopolis. It's a beautiful place. So it does help to have the beach right beside us, to have this environment, all this nature around us to also produce. But one of the teams last year really wanted to take the fire approach, because Brazil has a region that caught on fire last year and had very bad wildfires. One of our closest entrepreneurs actually has like this business of coffee farms, and his land had burned up like 98% of his land. So they lost about $100,000 worth of coffee plantation due to a wildfire. And once that's kind of what we did with the hackathon, as well as rethinking the structure. For the past 3 years, we do not have mentors going up to the teams and the tables. We do have on-demand membership. So we have a group of people that we know all across Brazil and the world that are kind of on hold. And if we have any team that requires a specific access to a technology, or they have a specific problem they want to solve, we kind of go after the best mentor for that specific team. So in this case, we're like, who better than the farmers to help the team to actually create something that's for farmers? So we started calling all this potential farmers networks that we had, and we were able to connect the team with Gabriel, which is a third generation of farmer, and they, together with the community of farmers that actually fight fires every year, were able to come up with this interface. It's kind of a chat-like interface AI that uses firms, the satellite that NASA has open data to advise farmers what they can do in real time once a fire is approaching. So if you imagine, not only we have the information, but it's very hard for farmers to know what do I do with it. So it's all about creating that actionable data interface for farmers. They can actually see the fire approaching visually from where into their specific geolocation. And then they have this chat like ChatGPT where they can converse and actually create strategies based on the wind speed, based on all this data being collected to prevent that fire from reaching their farm. And because we had a use case with real farmers, they actually were able to test and prototype by the end of the weekend and have real farmers simulate last year fire and prevent what it could be like real actions they could have taken. And this is still available. So if you know any farmer that would like to access that kind of information, it's open data, GitHub publish, and they have been improving that project since with partnerships with other startups in Brazil that already have farmers as clients.
Congratulations to you and your community. I love the idea of sourcing mentorship and resources from within the community. That's so true to the NASA Space App spirit. So thank you so much for sharing. Now, Don, your story is a bit different, but just as inspiring. You've built one of the fastest growing Space Apps events in the world, from 14 people to just over 600 in just 3 years. What's been the key to that kind of growth and engagement?
Yeah, so one of the things we do at the beginning of every year is my team sits down and I ask everybody, why are we doing this? Why are you doing this? Um, and we come up with a coherent message, like we want to make a difference in our community. NASA Space App Chicago is a full community effort to get people inspired with space and science. And then we start going through the steps to get there. Um, so I think having a message and having a vision has been super important, and we're excited about what we're doing. And I think that comes out in every conversation we have with a potential partner, with participants. And every year it gets bigger and bigger, and we bring in more and more people and partners to our project.
A message, a vision, and being excited about what you're doing. Those are really great insights for new local leads and even some of our returning local leads as well. You've also done so much to bring youth into the mix, especially through partnerships like Code Your Dreams. What's been the most rewarding part about seeing high school students discover their potential through this program?
So we kind of backed into our partnership with Code Your Dreams. We had a vague idea that we wanted to reach a broad section of our community to make sure that we had some high schoolers and younger participating. I had no idea how to do that. So I held a call with somebody from University of Chicago saying, hey, like, how do I get college students from your university to come show up at our event? It turns out she was the founder of this nonprofit called Code Your Dreams, and they work with a diverse group of high school students from all around the city. They have an amazing year-round program, and by the end of the conversation, I was like, all right, you have to be part of Space App Chicago. So we've successfully worked our event into the full portfolio of things that they do. And it's been super helpful. So the founder knows everybody in Chicago. She knows how to make a difference. We don't know how to make a difference, so every year we ask her, like, how do we make a difference at this event? The most rewarding part of working with her and the high school students. So I kind of feel like when high school students show up to the event, you don't necessarily know if their parents are sending them there, or if this is just something to help them build their resume to get into college or something along those lines. We've seen students from Code Your Dreams go off to university and come back to our event as participants again. So that's how I know that we're building a successful event is when I see high school students come back later of their own volition and they still want to be a part of it.
I think it's so amazing that you've been able to track the progress and success of your youth focused programs and the participants that have gone through from high school students now to adult participants that have then supported the events themselves. It's really, truly amazing to see how mentorship can just ripple through a community. Thank you so much for all that you do in Chicago, Don. Abdul, that actually ties perfectly to your story. You've also built really strong partnerships, in your case with the Nigerian Space Agency. Talk to me about how that collaboration helped your participants connect their ideas to real world outcomes.
Yeah, thank you, Cynthia. Partnering with the Nigerian Space Agency was a game changer for the Space App Challenge. It wasn't just about coding or data analysis. It was about connecting the young tech enthusiasts to the real world problems and giving them the tools, mentorship, and national relevance to solve them. So we have access to data and the national priorities. The Nigerian Space Agency provided access to satellite data, environmental data sets, and insight into national challenges like climate resilience, urban planning, and disaster responses. So this allowed participants to build solutions that were not just theoretical, but grounded in Nigeria actual needs, from flooding predictions tools for agricultural monitoring systems. So we have all this mentorship and technical guidance with the expert from the agencies that mentored participants, helping them understand space technologies and how to apply them locally. So this guidance elevated the quality of the projects and helped the teams align their ideas with global standards and local impacts. So some of these, innovations are centered around the community. So many teams focus on problems in their own communities, like waste management, access to clean water, or education gaps. So they use space data to design scalable solutions. For example, one team developed a mobile app that uses satellites imagery to identify illegal dump sites and notify the local authorities directly, improving sanitation in that area. So it inspires the generation, and the collaboration showed young Nigerians that space technology isn't distant or inaccessible. It's a tool they can use to solve problems at home. So it sparks the interest in STEM careers, encourages cross-disciplinary learning, and builds a network of innovators who now see themselves as part of Nigeria's space future. So, building bridges between government and youths, the partnerships bridge the gap between the policy and the grassroots innovation. It's demonstrated that when institutions invest in youth, the results are transformative, not just for participants, but for the country. So, it's been really very helpful partnering with the Nigerian Space Agency and having those access to those data. And in fact, the mentorship where the people from, the academia and the people from secondary schools, they all want to participate on the Space App Challenge.
I'm loving how much mentorship, support, and collaboration from within the local community has been such a strong part of all of your events. And I'm particularly moved by something you said, Abdul, that when institutions invest in youth, it's transformative for the youth and the broader community. I think that's been such a strong theme in all of your local events. And I love that. Also, your event, from what you explained in our pre-screening call, became a community celebration, from the local restaurants to the cultural gatherings. How did that sense of community pride play into your event success?
Yeah, actually, it showcased, integral local food producers. The restaurant into the Space Up Challenge isn't just about the catering, but it's about the culture, connection, and the community pride. Showcase local talents by involving farmers, chefs, and foods artisans. We celebrated a creativity and resilience of our local economy, and it gives the text enthusiast a deeper appreciation for the innovation happening in other sectors, from farm to table, something like that. So the creation of the experience, food has a way of breaking the barriers. Participants, mentors, and guests gathered around the meals and, told stories of our land, our people, our heritage. It turned the tech event into a cultural celebration, you know, something like that. And we support the small businesses, to give them visibility and to come to the local vendors, many of whom had never been part of a tech or science gathering. So it shows that space innovation can be inclusive and that everyone has a role to play. And building a lasting relationships, some teams even partnered with the food producers to explore tech solutions for agricultures and logistics. That cross-sector collaboration is exactly what community-driven innovation looks like. So in short, celebrating with the local food wasn't a side note, it was a statement that progresses test better when everyone is invited to the table.
That is so incredible. I love that you mentioned it's a celebration of culture and resilience. And it's that much better when everyone is invited to the table. And the way your local event really supported local businesses that in turn were able to support you and create long-lasting relationships. To me, that's just a powerful reminder of innovation and community. They can go hand in hand. Thank you so much for sharing your story, and thank you for all you do in Nigeria and your local communities. Okay, I'll bring it back over to you, Jen. So
Let's see
you've
if
been
this
leading.
works.
This works. We're back.
Perfect.
Awesome. Thanks,
All right.
Jen. So you've been leading Space Apps London since 2017, and as I mentioned earlier, way before virtual events were the norm. And you've hosted both in person and virtual, but I think local leads would love to know what has been the secret to a successful online event year after.
Okay. So did we listen to? Okay. All right. So you can hear me clearly, right? Okay, perfect. Yeah. So for us, so this year we had every intention of having an in-person event. We're all geared up for that, but the last minute we had to pivot to an all event, and on the in-person event as well, we to make we're ready in case
Jen,
of an eventuality.
I'm so sorry to interrupt. I think we might have lost the last sentence. If you can go back just one sentence, the audio was a bit choppy.
Okay. So I'm not really sure what's going on with the with my audio today. So
No
what I was
worries.
saying was no. So
Sounds
we had
great.
every intention of intention of having an in-person element, but last minute we had to it was an all virtual event. But although we had that plan for an in-person event, we were still prepared, um, to deal with the eventuality that we had to cancel the in-person element, and that happened. So in terms of the virtual element, I guess for us, what worked really well is just making sure that that we're in touch with them regularly. Where they're informed as to when they need to do things and all that. How to connect with team members. So what we did basically was because obviously not all teams would have met each other before the hackathon. So what we did was whoever signed up for this team, for example, we made sure that they are in communication with each other, and that they have they had their email addresses and all that, so that they can connect over the weekend. And we guided them in terms of where they can get support, and that that there is support, for example, on a local level if they need that, or on a global level, they can always go to Space Connect. So that's what we did, basically. But yes, for us, it's regular contact with them. Although we're not seeing them in person, it's like we're still talking to them actively.
That is a really valuable perspective. And I love that, especially as more events continue in hybrid formats, I love that you frame it as,
sure.
Can you hear me okay? I love that you frame it as community support. And I think that's a really great reminder for our new local leads joining us. I think you also mentioned that you were inspired by some of the ways that you've been able to streamline some of the efforts in your local community so that it wasn't harder necessarily, but that your efforts were really going towards making sure that the participants were enjoying themselves and really having a great time at the local event. Can you talk to us a little bit more, or perhaps give a piece of advice for a new local lead really wanting to make sure that participants don't feel the pressures of maybe the hackathon, but feel like they're a part of a larger celebration? Jen,
So
Jen, no worries. If you're having audio issues, we will drop the question in the chat. Feel free to answer in the chat. Sounds great. Thank you so much. Okay, and with that, I would love to round us out. Sai, you have also led multiple events across cities and regions in India. You're celebrating 10 years as a local lead. That is incredible. So looking back at your event in your local city, what was the most memorable moment for you this year?
First of all, thank you, the SpaceX team, for inviting me for this panelist. I'm happy to inform that this is my 10th edition of conducting NASA Space App Challenge. In 2013, I was the participant of NASA Space App Challenge, and from there, my journey of Space App started. So yeah. So when it comes to this year, success stories, there are a couple of stories which I would like to say. Like, we are happy to inform you that we launched Space Cube satellite into the space, which were made by the students. Actually, I think I have shared in the Slack group. That's one of the most memorable moment I would like to say, because those were the Cube satellites were completely built by the students in a span of just 3 days. So that's one thing I would like to say, which happened in one of the institution called BVRIT Hyderabad. So there we have launched over there. And the other success story would like to share is, like, there's a team who has been nominated as a global nominee, who are from a management background, who doesn't have any idea regarding the technology when it comes to data science, and when it comes to artificial intelligence, whatever it is. In a span of just 2 days in the hackathon, they learned the complete technology, build the product, and they're right now in the global nominations. So that's one of the amazing story I would like to say. And the team is from a college called Avinash College of Degree. So these are the two best stories I can say, like, this year. I would like, that's the best stories I can say.
That's a huge accomplishment. Virtual round of applause to you and your local community. I'm sure a lot of the local leads, after hearing what a success all of your local events have been over the past 10 years, would love to learn more about how you've managed to sustain momentum and really keep your community engaged year after year. I'm sure year 1 didn't look like year 10. So talk to us a little bit about that trajectory.
So, in 2015, I started organizing. I mean, like, I became the local lead in 2015. So the first thing, what I thought is, like, it's upcoming community in India. So we started conducting pre-qualifications in the colleges. So my plan was very simple in this way. Like, we started 6 to 7 months ahead of the hackathon. Initially in 2015 and 2016, the NASA Space Up Challenge used to conduct in April month. So we used to start in November itself. for the next year. I mean, like we used to start in the November itself. So after 2018 or 2020, I think it started. We are conducting in October again. So we used to plan 6 months ahead. So we used to, started collaborating with a lot of companies like Microsoft, like incubators like T-Hub, incubators like big government agencies like Atal Tinkering Labs and all. But later on, what we found out is like we have to reach to the tier 2 and tier 3 colleges where more and more grassroots level of innovations happens. So from there we started planning off, and that's how, in short, my journey of NASA SpaceX is.
What an exciting story, and just how you've been able to grow the local community across your local communities and your local events across India over the past 10 years is so inspiring. Thank you for all that you do for your local communities, and thank you so much for joining us today. And with that, what an amazing conversation, everyone. Every one of you has shown a different side of leadership, from mentorship and growth to wellness and inclusion to deep community impact. It's exactly what makes this program so special. Now, we'd love to hear from all of you, our global community tuning in today. So with that, I'll invite Allison and Bridgette to come off mute and help call out questions from the chat, or anyone that would like to raise their hand and share and ask a question.
Oh my gosh, thank you to this panel. Incredible. Wow. The holders of the stories, right? Our local leads. Thank you for sharing some of your stories. Chat, what questions do you have for the panel? I don't see any to highlight right now, but if you had a question or a comment or something that sparked an idea that you wanted to share with the panel, please put that in chat and we can voice it. Or if you'd like to voice it yourself, you can raise your hand and let us know. I do see some hand raises, I think. Let me see here. So we have, can't find number 1, but I see number 2. So sorry if I'm skipping you, but NASA, oh goodness. I cannot see your name. Yes, you're raising your hand, your literal hand. Yes, go ahead.
Thank you, Alison, and all the team. For us, was the first NASA App Challenge in Facatativá. We had a new scientific ecosystem for innovation. We are a school, basically, that start from preschool until high school. And we have an innovation center here in Facatativá. It's a little town close to Bogota. The question goes to Paloma, because it's something amazing that I think you are working with actually farmers to apply basically all the concept developed during the challenge, and something like that I heard, and I think it's amazing that you're doing that. Like we're basically starting the innovation center here in the school, right? And I think one of the most important things is leaving something for the community, right? And basically we start giving all the seats for students from 3 years to an app, right? For looking for new ideas and new solutions for the agro. In Colombia, we are like an agricultural economy, right? In Facatativá, we are we have many low income families. And I really like to know more about what you have done in Brazil. Thank you.
Should I jump in? Yes.
My name is Andres.
Yeah.
Go for it.
So I think that's something that we should not be as attentive during the hackathon, but it's something I as a team, we actually brief each other since we don't have that many mentors anymore, it's mostly the organization team, is we observe the teams and we try to understand who is the problem they're trying to solve to and really connect them with that person, right? So in this case, the farmers, but last year we also had team building how do you see patterns of fish and help the fishermen be able to predict when the fish is arriving in the coast and how they can do artisanal fishing. This year we actually had the challenge of the flowers. I don't know if you guys remember, but we connect one of the teams with apiculture specialists and with farmers again. And I think that's something that sometimes we forget in hackathons because we're all tech people, so we want to build cool stuff. And in bringing in tech mentors is kind of like our go-to, right? Like our best tech people or our best the best people in the ecosystem that have built companies and solutions before with space technologies. But then the users is something that we miss a lot of times in tech. So yeah, the farmers connection was very good because of that, because it gave them an early user right away, and farmers know each other, right? So that's the crazy thing, because then that one person brought the second farmer that bought because if they really have a problem, they've been trying to solve it alternatively. And if they see a bunch of smart people using NASA and all those other space agencies satellites to help them, why wouldn't they collaborate, right? So the look, and we did recorded the fisherman's reaction, because it was like this 79-year-old fisherman in his flip-flops in the beach talking with this young tech, very eager to help him group of people. And he's like, what do you mean you guys gonna help me like for free? And like, that's gonna help me have more fish? Like, he was just so surprised of us even asking him his opinion and what he does. So I think teams will be surprised as how many potential users are actually eager. This year we had one of the teams actually sign a LOI, like a letter of intent, with the mayor's office during a Sunday morning. Like, one of the officers from the mayor's office got up from his house and his family went all the way to the office, dressed up with his like work clothes, and made an official letter to tell them, if you guys build this, I'm going to use it. And he got actually like a signature from the mayors, because we're helping them to solve real problems that they need, right? So I think helping them, the team, to follow up with that and connect with the right people to make it happen. It also incentivizes a lot of the team, because they see the real change they can do in people's lives. So I think that's the main thing we have been doing a lot in our hackathons, is trying to bring the users close to the team, because that's also another motivation why not to give up, because they see the fisherman's reaction.
Okay, thanks a lot, Paloma. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Paloma, for that response. I do have a question in chat from Ahmed, I believe, who was a hand raiser. So I hope I have addressed this for you, Ahmed. But it says, my question is directed to Sai Kiran. What did change in the past 10 years in terms of participants' backgrounds? And how do you think we could attract more people that are not from a STEM background to participate in the event?
Okay, so it depends upon the promotion we do. In the past 10 years, as we have been conducting these space apps. So the most if you ask me what how to target the students who are not from the STEM background, is by conducting workshops for the students, or creating an idea regarding the community which we are trying to build. Mostly what happens is, like, everyone feels like, when we say space apps, when we say space, so most of the people think just about the satellites and the rockets, but it's not just the satellites and the rockets. There are a lot of other things where MBA people and marketing people can be part of these space apps too. That's where the series of workshops which we conduct for the students and the colleges, that create an impact to the students. we can happily say you like, it's in the past 10 years, there are around 70,000 students who participated in my NASA Space App Challenge pre-qualifications levels. And most of the students are from, not from the STEM background, but also from the designing background. We have participants from designing, we have participants from, from marketing people, from I can say you from arts. We have people from arts background, because when we say space, it's not just related to technology, but also people from other technology, from non-technical people can be part of it. So creating an awareness by conducting workshops, creating an awareness by conducting pre-qualifications, or boot camps for the students plays a major role in attracting in participants of space apps.
Thank you. I love that expansive look at participant inclusion and kind of widening the net of who this event is for, because we know it's for everyone. I have Melkin. Melkin, go ahead and come off mute and ask your question. Melkin, are you still with us? From Chia?
Hello, thank you.
Hello. Yes, we can hear you.
Sí. My name is Melkin. I am the local lead Chia Cundinamarca. We're happy because this is your second time joining this project. We hope that in the future we can inspire others to bring the things to events to their own communities. My idea is to establish local hubs throughout South Colombia, so can communities themselves can take other our ships of scientific snow decent things to events inspiring young people in science, and it's up to them to lead the way. My question is for the local lead in India. What projection can you expect after 10 years?
Thank you for your question, Melkin. So what prediction can you expect after 10 years? What kinds of local coordination or local collaborator involvement can you expect locally after growing your local event for that time?
So,
I'm not sure if you can hear me.
Yeah, we can hear you, Jen. Let's hear from Sai Kiran, and feel free to answer as well.
Go ahead.
Love to hear from you.
Go ahead.
Sure.
Go ahead,
So from the past 10
Hello.
years, like
Hello.
So what? Yeah. So I
My
think
name
I'm
is
audible,
Melkin
right?
Garza.
Go ahead, Sai Kiran.
Yeah. So from the past 10 years, what change did we brought in terms of in terms of quality of the students and in the career? I would like to tell you a story, success story of 2017. There's a student who is a physiotherapist who is right now working, who's a part of NASA Space Up Challenge, who got nominated as a global nominee, is right now working with NASA in a jet propulsion lab. That's one of the success stories of, I can say it's a success story of space apps, the whole story. And in the same way, we have brought changes in tier 2 and tier 3 colleges where people don't even have the dream to get into space sectors. Now people are working on space sector. We have transformed these ideas into startups. We can happily, proudly say there are around 10 startups working right now with us who were part of NASA Space Apps Challenge in previous editions. So if you ask me this, what is that one change that we have brought? We started converting the ideas into startups, and that's the success I would like to say.
Amazing, thank you. And Jen, can you add to that?
Oh yeah, no, I was just I think we covered this during the pre-call right, Cynthia, where I think I was saying that like having done this, at least for me, it's 9 years. I know you asked about 10 years, but almost there. It gets easier. Obviously, in the beginning, as a new lead, it can be nerve-wracking to organize something, as big as a NASA Space Apps Hackathon. But it does get easier because at the end of the day, I know we're dealing with NASA, data sets and all that, but at the end of the day, organizing an event is not rocket science. And from year, I've been around, this events for a while, and I've seen as well the improvements from the global organizing team, where the materials that we have now is just, it's like foolproof basically. If you're just reading it and and following it, then you won't go wrong. I remember in the past we always had like questions, and people will keep on repeating the questions, and it's obviously the same over and over again. But with the materials that we're getting from the Go team, I can truly say that even as a new lead, as long as you're religiously reading and understanding the instructions, then you will be fine. And as years go by, then it will be much smoother for you. I hope that's a question. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Fantastic. No, thank you, Jen. I always like when people say to read the materials we create. I love that. I'm glad they're helpful to you. I do have a question from the chat from Zoe. How do you support your local organizing team, so the volunteers that work with you, with burnout? And in the time after the hackathon as well. This is for any panelist. Jen, I saw you answered in chat, so thank you. But anyone who has a comment on burnout with your team.
Yeah, so I've got a comment on that. This is a lot of work. For us especially, I felt like this was a full year project. And we tried a lot of things. Some worked, some didn't. My biggest things I did to prevent burnout were making sure I had a big enough team. So my core team is maybe 5 people, and then we have another 10 or so people that are involved in the whole process. Everyone's got a role to play, and nobody aside from me gets overwhelmed by the big picture. The other thing, two more things. So, like I mentioned earlier, what we're doing with Space Apps is important, and I want all my teammates to feel that. So we're not doing work, we're making a difference. And I think that just that mindset makes it easier not to burn out. And then the last thing is everyone on my team is a co-lead. So if you're part of NASA Space App Chicago, you're not working for me, we're working together, and each person involved has a stake in the success of the project.
Fantastic. Other local lead thoughts on that, on the panel?
I saw someone message Paulo said I also did without sleep. So I think that's one of the things we try very hard, is making sure nobody skips sleep. And it's such an amazing experience. The pre is a little bit stressful, so preparing the team that this is normal. Like, I don't know who organizes events that doesn't have that last few days, even sometimes not even the workload, but we get anxiety. We start thinking, what if things will go wrong? Live events are like that. Jen, I don't know how to even keep it up with the online one, because I sometimes think this is even challenger, right? Because we don't see what's going on a lot of times. So it's a lot of our anxiety. So getting your team to understand this is just part of the experience of every event, and it's not going to go away. So making sure they sleep well, that we eat nutritious food, that we also do the protocols that we tell the founders to do with ourselves. Usually the organization gets so excited that they don't want to leave, right? So we have been doing schedules, like times, like you're here from 9 to 6 and you have to leave. so the other person is here, because it's very common that you just want to stay around because you're so excited, but then you don't realize that tomorrow there's all these things. So creating that culture of nurturing ourselves as teams and making sure we keep each other on track too. Otherwise, yeah, we do overwhelm ourselves, because the fact that you're already a local leader, you're a giver, right? So it shows. And if you don't take care of yourself, it's also very hard to take care of others, right? So I would always make sure. And then we do brief our team that the after event is as important as before and during. So I feel like the first years that we organized, we'll be like so exhausted on Sunday that on Monday and Tuesday, we don't even know what to do with ourselves. But the hackathon didn't finish. Now there's the judging, and now there's all these other things you want to do with the team. So don't think it finishes, right? So your team should be aware of that. Like as you build schedules of like work, also plan like a month before. You can already put in the calendar the meeting on Monday, the meeting on Tuesday, the thing that you're going to do it on Friday or the month after, because then they are aware that it doesn't finish that day and now, oh, I did my part, I'm not going to help anymore. No, the after event is sometimes a lot of work. So if you just make sure that they're aware of that, they don't kill themselves in that weekend and can barely walk on Monday.
I'd like to add to that actually.
Go ahead, Jen.
So as leads, especially if we're new, right? We obviously want the event to look like lively and everyone's happy and participating and all that. But I think if you put too much activity during that weekend, like talks here and there and panels here and there over like a two day event, that's overwhelming, obviously for the organizing team, plus overwhelming for the participants as well. So I think you need to keep in mind that you probably need to simplify the weekend so that participants has time to actually develop their projects, because and we've done this like in London, in the past, where this it's very structured. There's a lot of like at this time we're having a talk, at this time someone's calling in and all that. So it's there's just too much activity, I think, sometimes over the weekend. And it's not necessary sometimes that you have to do all that. For example, you mentioned, Paloma, that how we did it for the virtual event. So basically, what I did for this particular one was have an opening on Friday evening. And then, as I said before, we made sure that everyone's informed as to what they need to do, how they get support. And basically, we left them over that weekend and said to them, this is the time for you to focus on the projects. And if you need help, we're here. So for the virtual event, that worked very well, I guess, because in the past where we had virtual events as well, we're saying to them, okay, we'll have a catch up at this time and at this hour, but we're basically interrupt their flow. So I changed it this year, and we left them to work on their projects, and I think that worked very well for us in London anyway.
Lovely. I love all these local tips and tricks. I have one final question. Unfortunately, we are almost out of time. And so this last question will be to Abdul Kadir. Abdul Kadir, what do you tell participants having a hard time finishing and submitting their projects? Maybe they're thinking about quitting. How do you inspire them? What do you tell them? Abdul, are you still with us? You are muted if you're talking. Okay, it's possible Abdul had to step away, but I would love Sai Kiran or another panelist to answer this. Go ahead,
Can you repeat the question? Yeah.
Yes. How do you inspire someone who wants to quit, essentially? Your participants, they're disheartened. They want to give up. What do you do?
Hi, Karan. You may be on mute if we can't hear you if you're
I
talking.
think, yeah. So, yeah, I think I'm audible right now. Yeah.
Yes, great.
So when we are conducting the boot camps for the students, so first we try to say to the participants that this hackathon is an experience. It's not just winning and losing. So it's more like an experience. Come part of the community, be part of the community, and if you may not be winning right now, but next year definitely we are here to help you guys out. And most importantly, the mentors plays a major role over here. The collaborators plays a major role over here. So the people whom we are collaborating with, the people whom we are assigning as a mentors to the participants or the teams plays a major role, who will be guiding them for the next 24 hours to 36 hours of the hackathon. So that plays a major role. So that's the one thing I would like to say, like, let's make this hackathon not like a winning or losing, but more like an experience where, we are collaboratively working together and we are finding a solution for a problem statement. So that's usually we do over here.
Thank you. I will have to give you the final word. Unfortunately, we are out of time, and I want to make sure we can do our group photo. Thank you to all these panelists. What insights? Oh, we should start a podcast. This was so great. I loved hearing from all of you. And from the local leads who participated in chat, if you didn't get your questions answered, these local leads are available in our Slack as well. So you can continue the conversation with them there, as well as LinkedIn or other avenues of connecting. I would like us to take a photo together before you leave. So if you could share the screen once more, just to prep our local leads that we are taking a photo together. So next slide. All right, sorry, you can advance a little bit more. Yeah, keep going. Don't worry, I'll email this to you. Get excited. Next slide, there we go. So photo time. If you would like to participate in the photo, now is the time to turn on your camera. Get ready, smile. We're going to take multiple pages of photos, so hold your smile, please. You can stop the screen share, and our resident photographer, Bridgette, will take the photo for us today.
Awesome. All right, as Allison mentioned, you have to hold your smile for a moment. So on the count of 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, keep smiling for me. 1, 2, 3. Okay, there's a lot of us here today. Sorry, folks. Keep smiling. We're almost halfway done. You're doing amazing. Okay, take a blink break. And 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Almost done. You guys are amazing. And the final one. Fantastic. Amazing team. Thank you. We got them all. Love all of our photos today.
Thank you so much for being a photographer. I do have some updates to share with you, just next steps and things. These are updates that I have given you over email. So while I don't have time to voice them today, please note that your questions about global nominee announcements, applications, the survey, and milestone timeline, that sort of thing, they will all be in your email. So of course, we'll send this recording after the call, and I encourage you to read those updates because we did not voice them together today, because I wanted to prioritize our time together. This is the celebration of success call. So again, thank you so much to our panelists. Thank you to Cynthia for hosting a fantastic panel. And thank you all for being here. Loved your insights and engagement. This event could not happen without you. So again, thank you so much. And I hope you're extending this thank you and this gratitude to your communities and to everyone who made this happen locally for your NASA Space Apps Challenge local event in 2025. With that, this concludes our call. Thank you to everyone for being with us today. And we look forward to your continued engagement with the program. And we, as always, are available to answer your questions on Slack or via email. Thank you, everyone, and have a great rest of your day. Take care. Bye now.
Bye.
Bye. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
Igualmente solo estaban contando como la experiencia.